Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Repentant Wall, also known as the Kilted Gamer. My crowd control build that I use for legendary missions is what I'm going to be talking about today. There's been a lot of questions that I get during some of my streams, so I thought I'd throw this together. There's a lot of different options for crowd control builds, but this is my personal one. Most likely somebody else uses it or multiple people for that matter. But I'm just putting it out there since I've been asked about it. So hopefully this allows you to get a little insight on what I use, why I use it, and maybe help you out building your own. So let's jump into it. First, we use the Survivalist specialization. Since you're able to get to tier 6 without any help, this is probably going to be the best choice. The 10% damage that teammates get extra towards status affected enemies adds up pretty quick once you start doing this run. The weapons that I'm running, got the Scorpio for more crowd control and damage boost once you hit that 7 shot on the target. They start taking an extra 20% damage from everyone. The other one that I use is the Everlasting Gaze, and this is just because it has perfect perpetuation on it, and it's a rifle for those extra long ranges. The only difference between perfect and regular perpetuation is 16 seconds compared to 20 seconds on the cooldown on the talent. And so basically I jump into this and use this whenever I can't get in the shotgun range. For the gear, it's based off the Eclipse Protocol gear, so you're looking at that 4-piece. That 4-piece is going to give you that extra 15% status effects and 15% skill haste. Hazard protection really doesn't matter with this build. And it's going to give you that indirect transmission where your status effects are now going to spread on kill to all enemies within 10 meters and refresh 50% of the duration. But then we throw on the chest. The chest is going to increase that to 15 meters, which actually makes a difference when you start doing those runs, and refreshes that percentage to 75%. Is going to be pretty much key into making sure that you're locking everybody down, keeping the EMP, as we talk about later, going. Other pieces that I use are the Vile. This is going to give me that extra 10% status effects due to that perfect roll. Put on skill haste, and it's going to allow me to do just a little bit of damage to everybody. So pretty much once I hit somebody with that status effects, marks them with the Vile, for the next 10 seconds, they're taking between 85 to 90 plus K tick as a damage. Not a lot, but it's a little bit of something just to add into there, maybe help out your team just a little bit more. And the other piece might happen to be a holster, but it can be either holster, gloves, knee pads. Is a Golan piece. This is going to be probably the hardest one to get in this specific build. Mine's not perfect yet. So what you're looking for is status effects and skill haste on the attributes, and that way you can roll that core attribute to a skill tier, allowing you to keep up that skill tier 6. So the plus 10% status effects comes on the brand set, plus 10% with the status effects. And then if I can get that skill haste, it's going to allow me to get that as well. So skill haste, status effects are what you're looking at for this build. All right, so if you cannot get this Golan piece, which like I said is going to be one of the harder ones, then I recommend throwing on a Hannah U. So this Hannah U is going to give you skill haste. It's going to make it easier to get both skill haste and status effects on your attributes because you don't have to roll off that core attribute. This is going to help with keeping up not only more riot foam, but your EMP will start cooling down longer. So the 2 pieces, as I talked about, that I use for skills, Chem Launcher Riot Foam, and then I use the EMP Sticky Bomb. In addition to that, sometimes I'll switch over to the actual Jammer Pulse, and this is just if I need to knock out multiple things at once immediately instead of waiting for the team to kill something. One good example of this is the dog room DUA, where you have the 2 dogs. Knock out both dogs at once. If they're together like normal, then one of your skill damage teammates can drop a shrapnel trap on them, and then pretty much it's almost an instant death. And you knock out both of them and get ready for that next room. Reason I use the EMP sticky most is due to the fact that it lasts longer. So you're looking at, on this specific, let's see, we'll roll back to my Golan. You're looking at 28.4 second duration instead of 9.4 second duration. So since you're doing this build for it to transmit over to each person, you're going to want to try to keep up as much duration as you can because it keeps refreshing a little bit more. And slowly go away, but it's going to refresh an extra 75% of that initial. When you start looking at it, it starts adding up pretty quick. So if you want to look at the specific differences of running Golan compared to NAU, Golan Riot Foam, you're looking at a 17.4 second cooldown with a snare duration of 18.8 seconds. So this is with the purples, obvious, or reds, obviously. So if you start looking at purples and yellows and named enemies, it's obviously going to start being less, but it's still above the cooldown, which is pretty much what you want. And then, like I said, duration, extra 75% refresh on that, and it just continues to spread. EMP sticky, 18.7 second cooldown, 28.4 second duration. Again, high duration is going to allow me to keep it spreading, you and your team, across everybody. Let me switch over to Hannah U. Again, this is maxed out skill haste, so it's going to allow you to be a little bit quicker. You drop down to 15.3 second cooldown, but the duration also drops to 17.8 seconds. And then your EMP goes to 16.4 second cooldown and then 26.9 seconds for the duration. Personally, like I said, I enjoy that extra duration. And so that's what I'm going to stick with when I do the Golan. And then hopefully one day I'll be able to get a God roll so I can actually do status effects, skill damage, or skill haste, and then keep that skill tier on there. But we'll see what happens in the future. Overall, build seems to be quite good. What I run the most of the time in legendaries. Helps out the team. Pretty much that's what I have. Hopefully it helps out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And I will definitely be seeing you all later. Take care.